Ever wondered what separates a civilized society from one deemed barbaric? What makes an act civilized or barbaric? These questions might seem straightforward, but when we start to dig a little deeper, we find that they are steeped in complexities and contradictions. Let's start by looking at the dialectical context of barbarism and civilization. Dialectics, in its simplest form, is about the conflict and resolution between opposites. It's about thesis and antithesis. In our case, civilization is the thesis and barbarism is the antithesis. Civilization denotes order, refinement, and progress, while barbarism represents chaos, crudeness, and regression. But here's where the contradiction comes in. Every civilization, no matter how refined or progressive, has elements of barbarism within it. This is what we call internal barbarism. At the same time, barbarism is not just the absence of civilization. It's not just about violent acts or uncivilized individuals. Barbarism also has its forms of order and progress. It's about survival, resistance, and resilience. This is what we refer to as external barbarism. So when we talk about barbarism and civilization, we're not talking about two separate entities. We're talking about a dialectical relationship where one cannot exist without the other. They are intertwined, each shaping and being shaped by the other. In the next few scenes, we'll delve into this dialectical relationship in more detail. We'll look at how our understanding of barbarism has evolved over time, how it's been interpreted and reinterpreted in the light of new historical and cultural contexts. We'll explore the concept of the modern barbarian not as an uncivilized outsider, but as an integral part of our global society. And we'll examine how the dialogue between barbarism and civilization continues to shape our world today. But for now, let's take a moment to ponder these questions. What does it mean to be civilized or barbaric? Who gets to decide? And most importantly, how do these concepts impact our understanding of ourselves and our place in the world? Now let's delve deeper and unravel the intricacies of these contrasting concepts. In the grand theater of history, the stage is often set with the conflict between civilization and barbarism. Dialectics, a method of analysis, often paints this conflict in stark contrasts. It's a dance of thesis and antithesis, a clash of opposing forces. On one side, we have civilization, upholding norms, promoting peace, fostering growth. On the other, we have barbarism, defying conventions, inciting violence, bringing about decay. However, this is a simplified narrative. Reality, as we know, is far more complex, and that's where phenomenology steps in. It transcends the rigid binary of dialectics and offers a more nuanced understanding of barbarism. You see, barbarism isn't merely the absence of civilization. It's not just the other in this dialectical equation. It is a phenomenon in itself with its own diverse forms and manifestations. It ranges from acts of violence to the individuals who perpetrate them. Phenomenology, by focusing on the essence of experiences, extrapolates the concept of barbarism beyond the dialectical relations. It uncovers its many facets, from the most heinous acts of barbarism to the most representative barbarians throughout time. In this process, two key concepts emerge: mutation and crisis. These are the pivot points around which the narrative of barbarism revolves. They signify transformation, rupture, transfiguration, deterioration, destabilization, re-evaluation, and redefinition. These are the moments that shape the course of barbarism, the moments that offer new interpretations and perspectives. The synthesis of barbarism research structure, therefore, is not just a static concept, but a dynamic process. It evolves as the concepts of mutation and crisis are inserted into its universe of discourse. These situations of transformation become the cornerstones of a new interpretative approach, synthesizing the arguments and deepening our understanding of barbarism. Understanding this dialectic gives us a deeper insight into what it truly means to be civilized or barbaric. In the end, it's about recognizing the ever-changing nature of these concepts and their intricate interplay. After all, civilization and barbarism are not isolated entities, but intertwined threads in the tapestry of history. As with all things, barbarism too has evolved over time, shaped by historical erosion and new interpretations. Modern barbarism is a fascinating study of contradictions. It's an outcome of the historical erosion of traditional notions of barbarism, reinterpreted under a new light. This change didn't occur in isolation, but in tandem with a broader axiological mutation, a shift in the values and principles that underpin our society. This shift has moved us away from viewing barbarism as an external alien concept to something more intrinsic, more intimate. This internalization of barbarism has given rise to new values and meanings. It's no longer just about the uncivilized other, the outsider who rejects societal norms. Instead, it's about the inherent alterity within our society, the diversity and difference that exists among us. And this isn't just about ethnicity or cultural background, but about the myriad ways in which we can differ from one another. The phenomenon of alterity, the exploration of identity and difference, is central to this evolution. It's about understanding how the other, the different, the unfamiliar fits into our society. It's about acknowledging that acts of barbarism can occur when there are dysfunctions in the integration of these individuals. But it's also about recognizing that striving for homogeneity, for a society devoid of difference, can lead to aggression, violence, and nonconformity. The evolution of barbarism, then, is not just about changing definitions or shifting perspectives. It's about a fundamental mutation in our understanding of the concept. It's about recognizing that barbarism is not an external force that we can keep at bay, but something intrinsic to our society. It's about confronting the reality that barbarism can manifest in many forms, from the most obvious acts of violence to the more subtle forms of exclusion and discrimination. It's about accepting that barbarism is not the antithesis of civilization, but a part of it. It's about understanding that we can't simply banish barbarism, but must instead learn to navigate its complexities and contradictions. This new form of barbarism, then, is not an external force, but intrinsic to our society. In our globalized world, the modern barbarian is not a distant other, but a part of our society. This statement may be jarring, but let us delve deeper and understand the context. The modern barbarian, as we call it, is a manifestation of the dysfunctions in the process of integration. Akin to a puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit, this individual struggles to align with the norms of the society they find themselves in. They might be an immigrant, unfamiliar with the local customs and practices, or an individual who, for one reason or another, has been marginalized. This inability to integrate, to become part of the societal fabric, can lead to acts that are perceived as barbaric. But why does this happen? What drives this modern barbarian? It's worth noting that the challenges posed by trying to homogenize societies and mass characters play a significant role. When we attempt to make everyone the same, to iron out the differences, we create an environment that is ripe for conflict. In this relentless pursuit of homogeneity, we stifle individuality and diversity, creating a pressure cooker situation where aggression, violence, and other forms of barbarism can flourish, and this is where we encounter the paradox of the modern barbarian. We live in a world that celebrates diversity, yet we often struggle to accept and integrate those who are different. We talk about inclusivity, yet we create societal norms that can alienate and marginalize. We aspire to create a global society, yet we are often unprepared for the challenges that come with it. This is the reality of the modern barbarian. They are not marauding invaders from a distant land, but individuals among us who, for various reasons, have been unable to integrate into our society. They are a reflection of the dysfunctions in our integration processes, a mirror showing us where we need to improve. Barbarism, then, is not a relic of the past, but a very real part of our present. It is a challenge we must face, a dialogue we must engage in if we are to build a truly inclusive and harmonious society. The dialogue between barbarism and civilization is not a closed chapter, but a continuous discourse. It's a living, breathing conversation that evolves with each passing day, each new generation, each shifting paradigm. What we've unpacked here today, the nature of barbarism and civilization, their dialectic, the evolution of barbarism and the modern barbarian, these are not static concepts, but dynamic ones. Just as the world changes, so too does our understanding of these concepts. What was considered barbaric in the past may not be seen as such today, and what we deem civilized now might be viewed as barbaric in the future. Our definitions, distinctions, and associations between culture, barbarism, and civilization are constantly being redefined and reevaluated. In the context of our modern world, this discourse bears significant importance. As we increasingly become a globalized society, we are confronted with new forms of barbarism and civilization. We're witness to the erosion of old dialectics and the birth of new ones. We see the emergence of a new barbarian, born not from exteriority, but from an intrinsic form of alterity. Understanding these shifts is key to navigating our world. It allows us to identify the transformation, rupture, transfiguration, deterioration, destabilization, or re-evaluation that occur. It helps us appreciate the complexities of the other, the modern barbarian who might be an immigrant, an ignorant and uncivilized individual struggling to integrate into a society unlike their own. Yet, we must also recognize the dangers of striving for homogeneity. The push for uniformity can often lead to aggression, violence, illegality, nonconformity, and licentious behavior, further fueling the cycle of barbarism. This is the paradox of our globalized society, a challenge we must grapple with as we continue to evolve. In this continuous dialogue between barbarism and civilization, we find not only a reflection of our past, but also a guide to our future. It provides a lens through which we can view our world, helping us better comprehend our place within it. As we navigate our globalized society, understanding the dialectic of barbarism and civilization helps us better comprehend our world and our place in it.